Hi there, this is Esther. I'm a surface designer and illustrator. I love to make art and teach others my process. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create guides for your Illustrator work and how to customize it, including how to change the color and shape, and also how to turn a random object into a guide. So now I have a blank canvas, and the first thing I want to do is to bring out my rulers. You can do that by pressing Command R. And at the very top, it will show you whatever default unit that you have selected. And you can switch between units by right-clicking on the ruler. And in this case, I'm going to switch from inches to pixels. And if you want conventional type of guides, by conventional, I mean vertical, horizontal, that type of thing, you can just drag from your ruler and let go. As you may notice, my guide is kind of a light peachy color. I have customized that, which I will show you how to do that in a second. But as of for now, you can see the guides is still kind of live. You can adjust the position. Because I have my smart guides turned on, so whenever I drag at an optimal spot, for example, right in the middle, I will see the little pink hint. That will show me, oh, this is something that you need to pay attention to. In this case, it's right in the middle. I don't want to drag it around when I start drawing, so I'm going to actually lock my guides. To do that, you can right-click and just lock guides. Anytime you want to change your guide's position, you can just right-click and click Unlock Guides, and then you will be able to drag it around again. Same thing for the vertical guides. It's a little bit hidden over here. As you can see, it's under my toolbar. You can see a tail of it. Just do the same thing and drag it out, and you will be able to see the guides. To customize the appearance of your guides, you can come over to Illustrator, Preference, and Guides and Grid. You click on that. The very top thing is the one that you want to mess with. By default, it gives you the cyan color, which is probably what you are more familiar with. You can choose from whatever color that they offer, and you can also choose your own color. To do that, you can just click on the color block on the right, and it will bring out a color picker. If you know the exact value, you can do that by coming over to the second tab and click on, for example, HSB slider, and you can put in the value over there. I don't imagine you have to work with a specific color unless you are really in love with one color. Otherwise, I will just come over here and click and say, let's change it to a bright pink. Okay, let's do orange. All right. You do want to close this little window for the guides to change. So close that. As you can see, our little color block has turned orange. And you do have the option of choosing either using lines or dots for your guides. I'm just going to stick with lines. In the same way, you can also customize your grid, which I don't necessarily use it all that often. So I'm just going to click OK and test it out. Immediately, I can notice my guide's color has changed. It's not a drastic change from what originally is, but it did get darker. So I'm going to get rid of these guides by just selecting and delete. The next step, I'm going to show you some irregular guides. For example, if you are creating like a wreath, like a watercolor around a circle, you can press L to create a circle, hold down to Shift so you have a perfect circle, and you want to turn this thing into a guide. Currently, it's a shape. You can always just lock it by pressing Command 2 and work around it that way. I'm going to press Undo or press Command Option 2 to unlock it. Or you can make it on a different layer and lock that layer as well. But alternative, which is what I really prefer, is to create a guide. So it's not an actual element of your composition. It's just a visual guide. When you print out stuff, you don't accidentally print your guides off. For example, sometimes if we have an actual shape or even an outline, we might forget to turn it off and it prints out on paper. At the end, if it is a guide, by default, it will not print. So this is a much safer option. In order to turn this shape or whatever shape into guides, you can do Command 5. And you don't see the immediate change. That's because it's selected. As you can see, it turns orange. It just shows us that it has become a guide for us. And you can lock it by right-click and select, right-click, and lock guides. So you can work around your circle, even if you're making some really random shape. For example, I'm gonna go with this guy. Say that you have to look at this as your guide, and you can turn this thing into a guide for you by pressing Command 5. It's the same thing. It works the same way. So hopefully by now you have a better idea of how guides work and how you can customize your guides in Illustrator. If you have enjoyed this tutorial, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel. If you would like to grow your design and illustration skills, I would love for you to check out my Skillshare classes, where I teach my design process in depth. In the description box, you will find a link that will give you 2 months for free.